Joining us right now is Rob Bradford, weei.com, Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. He is co-sponsored by McFarland Energy, the heating, cooling, and bioheat delivery pros that Eastern Mass and all of the Cape depend on, at McFarlandEnergy.com, by the E.L. Harvey companies, including Nauset Disposal and Miga Disposal, your local trash collection and recycling providers, and by Aviva Trattoria, Italian-inspired, locally made from fresh, whole, locally sourced ingredients. Rob Bradford, how are we doing this week?
Oh, good, McFarland, my friends, McFarland to you all. And I will say this: I like the uniform thing, but I also want to do Major League Baseball mascots on a power rank because I got into a little tiff with the parrot up in Bradenton the other day.
Now, what team is that? The Parrot?
The Pirates. The Pirates.
The Pirates mascot is a parrot?
I don't think this is your first mascot feud, Bradfo. I feel like we've talked to you about, was it the Braves mascot you had an issue with?
Oh, no, well, the Philly Fanatic and the Braves, when I was doing the broadcast with Will Fleming, they came up to cause chaos, which is always good for radio, right?
Yeah.
It plays real well.
Yeah, it plays really well. In this case, I was talking smack about the parrot because I looked down in Bradenton, and this parrot is sitting in the stands looking like he's asleep. You know, like they tell the mascots, if you're going to take a break, go in the back room. This parrot was just sitting there, hunched over. Somebody has to take a selfie with him. He sort of haphazardly just sort of turns like, yay, okay, goes right back. So I start saying on the air, I'm like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And then I didn't realize that there was a guy next to him with a radio mic. So next thing I know, he starts looking up at the booth and starts making signals to me. I'm like, okay, all right, let's do it. Let's go.
Pardon the pun, the parrot sleeping really flies in the face of baseball being boring. So I understand you wanted to sort of step in there and be like, how can this happen? How can this take place?
I am one mascot at a time. That's the first step of it, which I am not going to accept that a mascot, all the people that should understand the great game of baseball is not boring. It should be the mascots. But hey, listen, it's spring training for everybody, right?
True. I would love to see Bradfo at like Disney World just yelling at people about how to do their jobs.
I got into it with the Astros mascot once behind the scenes. Where
how many mascots have you got?
I'm telling you, he's got a real issue with mascots.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, you know, listen, I'm not going to say I know that all these mascots are real things and real creatures and everything, but this to say that they aren't. This is to suggest that they have some human being.
No souls?
So, let's say, there's different levels of human beings or different levels of souls in them. Wow. And the Astros, I guess it was Orbit, and I was just like, hey, hello, can I take a picture, whatever it was, and he basically attacked me. So, not a good day for Orbit. Not a good day for me.
You know what we need? You're asking us. We need your mascot power rankings. Maybe from one you'd most like to sock in the face.
I can start the worst. I've done this week. I'm not going to lie to you. You get through innings 7 through 9 on the road sometimes on the spring training games. You're ranking the mascots.
Yeah.
But the one in Texas, which is a human being with a horse head, might be the worst. I think that's the worst.
Was that a centaur?
No, it's definitely. Believe me, if it was a centaur, it would be good.
Okay.
No, this is. They just plopped a horse head on some like human body, and that's what it was. But Philly Fanatic's the best. I mean, it's not.
He's the man. I love the Fanatic.
Not even a question because he likes to. He's not afraid of anyone. He is not. He is not deferring to anyone. He knows he's the show. He knows he's been around long enough so he can do anything he wants and he takes advantage of it.
I'm a little nervous for. I don't want to see Bradfo get canceled over like his bias against these mascots. You know what I mean? Like in cancel culture out there today, Bradfo.
No, not anymore, Jones. That's over.
That's true. It's Trump's America now. That's a good point. So that's out the window.
Can I also tell you how bizarre this scene is here? I'm in Dunedin, which I know it's like the Paris of Central Florida. I don't know what it is, but it's so. I don't know if I've ever covered a spring training game, where the only two media members when we meet with the manager are the broadcasters. Me and Cooper Boardman are the only two people asking Alex Cora questions. Nope, because it's such a crappy drive to get up here, and then. We love the lineup. There's going to be plenty of stuff to talk about, but the lineup isn't exactly representative of a first-team group. So no other writers came up there. That's why you're very fortunate because I get all the information. Right. Yeah, just our broadcast.
Nice.
Okay, well let's hear it. What's the buzz right now on Garrett Crochet? Outside looking in, it looks like he's dominating. What's the buzz down there?
Yeah, he was dominant yesterday. And the thing is, it's not a great lineup he went up against Tampa Bay, but at the same time, you look at this guy pitch, and I know that you guys are going to see this. It's just another image. So for instance, we were having this conversation after this game. Paul Skeens is pitching just down the road here in Sarasota. I'm like, I am going to stop and go to that game. I'm thinking, what other pitchers would you go watch, go out of your way to watch? And, listen, Paul Skeens at a different level, but Crochet's not that far off. The way that he pitches, the image that he strikes, certainly so far, when you strike out whatever it is, 7 of 11 batters you face, he is not disappointed in terms of the hype coming in. That doesn't mean he's going to come in and win the Cy Young because he still has a lot to prove. He's only started for 1 year, and he never went more than 4 innings after July 8th last year. But still, the image that he portrays is something that we just haven't seen in a long, long time, and so that's my biggest takeaway from yesterday.
We were looking at the numbers earlier that only 4 pitchers last year hit the 200-inning mark, so clearly it's a different time. But is Crochet at the point where there's 0 pitch count, there's 0 limitation? Obviously, you're going to manage guys earlier in the season. Just you would do that with anybody, let alone guys that were, coming off injury or coming off a, less innings from the year before. But is it pretty much like if Cora thinks, hey, this is a game he can go 7 or 8, like he's going to be able to go 7 or 8?
Yeah, I think so. Last year, like I said, the White Sox went, they were to the extreme where you don't pitch more than 4 innings for the second half of the year. But I think this year, by all accounts, they're saying you're an ace. You're the guy that we're going to expect to go 6 or 7. But you're right. The way the baseball is going, you can have that guy, but that doesn't mean they're gonna just ride him out there like they used to. I mean, it's insane to think that relievers in the postseason last year, relievers pitched more innings than starters. That's crazy to me. Only one starter an entire postseason last year pitched as many as 8 innings, and that was Corbin Burns, 1 game. So, we understand the way the baseball is going, but I do think it's important still to get some of these guys who are going to go at least 6 innings. I mean, the whole thing about an ace with Garrett Crochet is he is the guy who protects everybody the day before, the day of, and the day after. That's what he has to do. And what that means in this day and age, that means pitching 6 innings. It used to mean pitching 8 innings, pitch 6 innings, but I don't think there's going to be limitations.
Rob Bradford, weei.com. Baseball isn't boring. You can hear him on the Red Sox calls this spring, including today. When it comes to Rafael Devers, behind schedule, he informed Alex Cora he needed more time. We've asked you in the past, is he in shape? You said no. How concerning is it that he is behind schedule?
I don't think it's concerning because I think when you get dropped into Texas for that first game, he's going to be able to hit the baseball, and really that's all that counts when it comes to Rafael Devers. No matter what he says, no matter what anyone else says, he's going to be fine when it comes to that. Now, obviously, we're going to have to integrate. Is he going to be able to field the position if they put him out there? What we know right now is that he hasn't appeared in a game. He hasn't even appeared as a game as hitter, although that seems to be right around the corner. Alex Bregman has not played second base at all, although Alex Cora just said that maybe after this off day on Monday, they really lock in on who's playing where because they're just trying to get guys at bats. But all we have to go by is the here and the now, and the here and the now just says to me, Devers will be ready for opening day as the DH. Bregman's going to be ready for opening day as the third baseman, and then they're going to really hope that Vaughn Grissom and David Hamilton can do a good enough job where, at least to start the year until Christian Campbell gets going, maybe in the minor leagues, that those guys are your second baseman. That's how it feels right now.
So is it sort of the injury / just not being 100%? Is that really going to be the reason? Or do you think they would have ultimately come to that conclusion anyway for opening day?
Well, I mean, I think it's a combination. I think they can say it's they obviously drew back on him early because of the injury. Now they're saying because his timing's a little off. But the injury was a reason why he wasn't coming out of the gate and just throwing the ball all over the place in the field in games. So you can say you can draw back and you were taking it slow because of the injury. And then you get there, even at the beginning of the year, we don't want him to jump into the same thing with Yoshida, right? Yoshida can't play the field. He's going to be limited, even though he can hit. So you have some crutches there with these injury things, but ultimately you're going to have to make the decision. And I just come back to it where I've seen Alex Bregman now play down here. And, yes, like he is as advertisement. He is an elite third baseman. We've seen him make plays at JetBlue Park, which Rafael Devers simply cannot make. And, so when you have that guy and you have another guy, which by the way, you should preserve Rafael Devers. He has been hurt in the last couple of months of almost every year in the last 3 or 4 years. You should preserve him. So this is the logical way to go. Just getting to that point where, whether it's a middle April or May, where the actual decision has to be made, where you're saying, Rafi, sorry, man, this is just how it is. That's going to be where the rubber meets the road in terms of that.
Okay, Bradford, there's some buzz that the Red Sox will approach Roman Anthony about a contract extension. They've paid Rafaela early. They paid Bayo pretty early as well. You've reported in the past they approached Cassis a year ago. Not a lot of traction there. Well, number one, where do you think this winds up? And number two, what does this represent, this shift, if you will, with the Red Sox attempting to get to some of these guys early?
I think, it's tremendously important for any organization. They know that. And doesn't any surprise with any of these three guys that you would approach a contract extension, because now you don't even have to play in the major leagues. And this is the accepted thing in baseball, where if you're a top prospect, you're going to be offered a contract extension crazy early, and you should be. If you're confident in the guy being good, like they are with Roman Anthony, then fine. The problem is that to me, if you're going to do that, then be aggressive, because this is your window. We're over here in Dunedin with Toronto, and we're seeing what happened with Vlad Guerrero. How many times did they try to extend Vlad Guerrero? Well, as it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, it gets more and more and more difficult. As I've said a million times, Mookie Betts told me, said the toughest contract to turn down was that first time they come to him with that extension offer, but he turned it down. So make it a case where it's hard, almost impossible to turn down, and I think that's where teams miss the mark. So if you're going to go to Roman Anthony and you say he's worth this, well, make it a little bit more, because if you really think he's going to be a superstar, this is your best opportunity, because as we have seen with Mookie, with Vlad, with all these guys, you get deep, especially with position players, it gets really uncomfortable.
Now, you mentioned last week or the week before the big three prospects you think are all going to start the year in the minors. Do you think it's May or June call-ups, or what do you think the plan is going to be when we're going to see them?
Yeah, so with the only chance I think of a guy breaking is Roman Anthony because of weei-fm. Weei-fm still has that stomach thing, and is going through tests today, and he's hoping that he's going to be cleared for live BP, but he's still behind. And he's lost a lot of weight. So that would be the only avenue, I think, of one of these guys making the team. I don't think that's going to happen. And Marcelo Meyer, who I think of the three has looked the best so far, he's looked really, really good. But he's a shortstop. They're not playing him at second base. He's backing up Trevor Story. So he's going to start in the minors. And Christian Campbell, he's going off to a really slow start. They know that he isn't ready right now, so he'll go to the minor leagues. But I think all three of them will be in the major leagues, certainly at some point this year. And again, if Christian Campbell gets off to a really, really hot start and you have any struggles at second base, then that's the logical avenue for one of these guys to make their debut ahead of the others.
Okay, he's Rob Bradford every Thursday at 11:30 here on Jones and Keefe. Check out his work, weei.com, and on the Odyssey app, the Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. Bradfo, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate the updates. We'll talk to you next week.
Oh, man, anytime I can report from Dunedin, it's a good time. It's even better talking to you guys, so I appreciate that.
All right, Bradfo.
Thank you.
Joining us from Dunedin. You got to watch out for those mascots down there.
I'm telling you, he's got a real – you talk about Keefe's beefs. Bradfo's all mascots.
I didn't realize
that's all
that.
it is.
Bradfo and all the various mascots.
True.
The parrot. I didn't even know the parrot was I didn't know that was a Pirates mascot.
I love the Pirates kind of swerving there, because you would think the mascot would just be, I don't know, a pirate. But they're like, nope,
no,
parrot.
No.
Giant parrot. Great.
Well, to your point, though, the kids love these mascots. Kids
they
love
go crazy for them.
They love Wally and Tessie.
Yep.
I bet kids in Pittsburgh love that stupid bird that's beefing with Bradfo.
That's taking a snooze in the stands.